What up, stackers? Big Stack McGee here. How are you doing today? It is Saturday, April 16th, 2022, and very frigid where I'm at, unseasonably cold, but the sun's out, and so it's hard to argue with that. I do have a purchase to open up here, and as you can see from my Guardhouse box, this is my 90% silver quarters Guardhouse box, eagerly waiting the next deposit. So excited to rip into that here. I do just want to say it's been a couple weeks since I've been able to make a video. It's really kind of unsettling right now for me as I stack. And I'm going to talk just briefly before I get into this. It's hard for me to fire off the kind of stacking purchases that I am typically used to doing for a couple different reasons. There's just a lot of unrest. You know, you got war in Eastern Europe. We're super high inflation going on here in the country. The market is still relatively high. You know, I mean, it's down from its highs, of course, but like it's, you know, people don't know, is there going to be some sort of recession? Is there not? Is the economy going to keep on rolling, or is it going to take us back? See what's going on with housing, what's going on with interest rates, all of those kinds of things. And you know, silver right now north of $26 an ounce. Gold right at the gateway for $2,000 an ounce. It's just hard to like kind of keep firing. You know what I mean? So I mean, I still am buying gold and silver every month, just not in the quantity that I have been. Just kind of waiting and see. I guess the long and the short of it is I'm stacking more dry powder, right? So I have more cash reserves available, and so when gold and silver dip a bit, that's usually where I make my purchases, and this was one of those circumstances. Gold was in the low 24, or excuse me, silver was in the low $24 an ounce when I purchased this. So I mean, that feels good. I guess it's appreciated, but you know, as I've said many times in the past, gold and silver is a very, very long-term play for me. Retirement as well as hopefully inheritance for my children. But I have traded some gold and silver in the past, stuff that I've picked up for either cheap or whatever, or I've changed some of my stacking goals, and I've always traded for something different. I've never sold any, right? And so I look at it as a long-term acquisition. And that obviously, for those of you that are just getting into it right now, it's hard not to just go like, well, it's going up and up and up. I should get as much as I can at this price. But you know, the prices have done this for decades. And so could it continue to go up, and this is now going to be, you know, the new lows? Of course it could. Could it go back down below $20 an ounce? Of course it could. You know, whether it's authentic or manipulated or not, just understand, and from my standpoint, that you know, I don't know where the prices are headed. You know, everyone has thoughts on where they could be. But I just, for someone like me that spent so much time accumulating, and when silver is in, you know, $14 to $16 an ounce, it's hard to pull the trigger when it's $26 an ounce in the same way. But having said all that, I'm going to go ahead and rip in to this, and let's just see what we got here. All right, one more roll of silver quarters from our friends at Coin Exchange. As I've mentioned many times in the past, these are a go-to. I will frequently search and see if I can find similar rolls of silver quarters that have full dates for a cheaper price, and sometimes I do. And when the case came when to buy some this time, Coin Exchange had the cheapest prices, so. And very nice, they shipped it with this little bit in here so that it's not going to rattle as much in the shipping, and I really appreciate when they do things like that. But let's just take a moment and admire love it. All right. Let's just take a moment. I'm going to go through and see if any stand out as unusual or particularly worn or particularly uncirculated or in good condition. These rolls that I usually get from Coin Exchange typically come in pretty fantastic condition. All right, and this is my first purchase for the month of April. I do have some other stuff coming. But let's see, what do we see here? As usual, there's a 64 that can be found that's in very, very good, barely anywhere. Let's see. Here's a little bit of a slickage on this 41. Spin around the block. Another 64 in good condition. Here's a 40 that's got a little bit of wear. By and large, most of these look pretty good. I see a lot of 64s. Very typical. Nothing that stands out as too weird or anything like that. It's a couple of really shiny, unnaturally shiny ones. Some that have some cool toning. Here's a 54 that's seems like it's pretty good. I'd say this is probably as more 64s. Like I said, they're all really good. Cool. And of course I do have my coin safe tube here. So I'm going to quickly get this all packaged. Okay, so that is ready to go. Let's take a look at the story so far here with our Guardhouse box. Oh, this is getting heavy. All right, so this has room for 50 rolls of silver quarters. We have 40 solid here. This is a tube and a half of AU quarters that I've kind of cherry picked from the rest. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 empty slots. And we're going to fill one of them. Oh, that feels good. We're so close. 7 more tubes of quarters plus a half. 7 and a half is what I need to get. So that feels really good. This just has taken so long to fill up. I mean, $500 face value of silver quarters is a lot. I'll never forget when I started this project, and I had several like Ziploc bags filled with quarters from various purchases early on, and I thought I had way more than I actually did. When I actually got the Guardhouse box and put them all in, I think it was like 5 or 6 rolls, and I saw all the empty spaces. Like, you've got to be kidding me. but yeah, it's, boy, it feels good. It's like, it's always great to have a goal. You know what I mean? To be something that you're working towards, and so this has been kind of for the last couple of years. I've been really pushing hard to get this filled up, and I'm really, really excited about completing this project. So there you have it. Just one roll for this week. 7.15 ounces of silver in that roll of silver quarters. But every time I get some, like I said, it's hard for me to pull the trigger sometimes. But every time I hold that silver in my hand and I realize that I am saving this, it's like work that I've done that I'm saving in the form of silver. It just feels good, right? Because I could have spent that on anything, right? We could have went out to eat a few more times, or we could have, gone out for, I don't know, go out to the movies or whatever. And we still do those things, but it's like saving just feels good, and especially when it's in silver and gold. So that's all I've got for you today. Appreciate you watching. This is Big Stack McGee, and I'll be back at you soon. Have a good one.